listen, a man with no girlfriend ain't weak. A man with no girlfriend ain't lonely. A man with no girlfriend is powerful because he got the space to build, to focus, to put his energy where it matters. Don't ever confuse being single with being lost. The most dangerous man in the room is the one who knows himself and don't need validation from nobody else. When you are a man with no girlfriend, the first truth you must understand is that relationships should be an addition, not a distraction. Too many men jump into connections before they have built their foundation, and what happens is they get pulled in different directions without ever standing firm on who they are. Imagine a house being constructed with weak beams and no solid base. The weight of another person's expectations, needs, and demands will collapse that house in no time. That is why your priority in this stage of your life is building a foundation that is unshakable. Your mind, your health, your money, and your mission are the pillars. If you skip that part and run toward companionship too early, you risk losing not only your direction but your identity. This season is not punishment, it is preparation. Being without a girlfriend gives you the advantage of time and mental energy that others waste on temporary love. A relationship is supposed to add to your life, but if you have not created something worth adding to, it will only drain you. Think about how many men you know who sacrifice their dreams, their goals, even their sanity just to keep someone by their side. They believe presence equals fulfillment, when in reality fulfillment only comes from self-mastery. By staying grounded in solitude, you give yourself the opportunity to rise into the man you are destined to be. That way, when you finally let someone into your life, they are entering into abundance, not chaos. You also need to see how powerful this freedom really is. The second keynote is understanding that when you don't have a girlfriend, you have freedom, and that freedom is not to be wasted. It is the most valuable currency you can hold as a man. Freedom means no compromises, no divided attention, no drama pulling you off course. Freedom means your time belongs to you, and with time you can build anything you desire. Most men spend their days reacting to the needs of others, but you have a gift right now that most overlook. You have a blank canvas, and it is waiting for you to paint your vision on it. This freedom is not about recklessness, it is about responsibility. You are responsible for turning this season into a launch pad. Instead of chasing validation, chase progress. Instead of seeking comfort in another person, create strength within yourself. Freedom is a test because it shows whether you will discipline yourself to use it wisely or waste it chasing short-lived pleasures. When you understand that you move with intention, you wake up with a plan, you invest your energy into your grind, and you start creating results that prove your worth without you needing to explain yourself. Imagine being free to put all your focus into your craft, your business, your health, your spiritual growth. Imagine how far you can go in 1 year if you dedicate every ounce of your energy to leveling up instead of splitting it between arguments, late-night distractions, and emotional roller coasters. This is where separation happens. The average man wastes his freedom chasing people, while the man who understands the value of solitude builds himself into a figure the world cannot overlook. That is the true gift of not having a girlfriend in this moment. It is the opportunity to build undistracted, to grow without interruption, and to rise without compromise. When you carry these two truths with you, your mindset shifts. You stop looking at being single as a weakness and start seeing it as a powerful stage of your journey. You start to appreciate that every moment spent alone is a moment invested into your foundation. You start to realize that the freedom you hold is not empty space but open space, waiting for you to fill it with greatness. That's the energy that transforms men from ordinary to extraordinary. It is not about what you lack, it is about what you build, and the world respects the man who builds himself before he tries to build with someone else. When you are walking through life without a girlfriend, one of the most powerful things you can do is treat that time as an investment period. The third keynote is simple but life-changing. This is the time to invest in yourself. Too many men look at being single as if it is some kind of gap or deficiency, when in reality it is the exact opposite. It is the season that separates those who waste time from those who use time. Every hour you are not giving to another person can be put into your own growth. That means more time to read, more time to train your body, more time to sharpen your skills, more time to expand your income streams. While the majority chase temporary love and get caught in cycles of emotional highs and lows, you can be stacking quiet victories that compound into permanent power. Think about how wealth is built. No one becomes wealthy by chance, it happens through consistent deposits over time. Every book you read is a deposit. Every workout you complete is a deposit. Every new skill you acquire is a deposit. Every dollar you save and invest is a deposit. These deposits grow silently, but eventually they become so large that people cannot ignore them. The man who invests in himself during solitude is the man who one day walks into rooms and commands respect without saying a word. He does not have to convince anyone of his value because his results do the talking. That is the beauty of self-investment. It gives you returns that no one can take away. This process also builds confidence that cannot be faked. When you know you are putting in the work, When you know you are making yourself better day by day, you carry a certain energy with you. That energy is magnetic. It makes people pay attention. It makes opportunities flow in your direction. Women especially can sense it because they are drawn to progress and strength. But the key is you are not doing it for them, you are doing it for yourself. And when you do it for yourself, everything else aligns naturally. The man who invests in himself first never has to beg for validation later. The fourth keynote connects directly to this. Women do not respect empty promises, they respect value. They are not swayed by words nearly as much as they are moved by results. This is why chasing attention never works in the long run. It may bring temporary connection, but it does not create lasting respect. A man with no girlfriend has the rare opportunity to stop chasing and start building. When you build purpose, you become valuable, and when you are valuable, people cannot help but gravitate toward you. Purpose is what gives your life weight and direction. And when others see that, they recognize your worth without you having to prove anything. Chasing attention puts the power in someone else's hands. It makes your worth dependent on how they see you, how they respond to you, how they feel about you in that moment. That is unstable because people's moods change, their interests shift, and their attention is never permanent. But when you chase purpose, you put the power back in your own hands. You are no longer waiting for approval because you are too busy creating impact. You are too focused on building something real to be distracted by temporary validation. And the truth is, when you stop chasing attention, that is when it comes to you the most. People are drawn to those who move with conviction, not desperation. This is why building purpose is more important than anything else. Purpose keeps you steady when life gets hard. Purpose keeps you disciplined when distractions try to pull you off course. Purpose makes you valuable to your community, your family, and eventually to the right woman who will see your strength and respect it. Without purpose, you are just existing, and when you are just existing, you will always end up chasing. With purpose, you are creating, and when you are creating, you become the one who is chased. So in this season, stop looking outward for validation and start looking inward for vision. Invest in yourself, build your skills, stack your wins, and strengthen your purpose. When you live like this, you transform from someone waiting for life to give you value into someone who creates value everywhere you go. That is the difference between a man who struggles for attention and a man who commands respect. One of the most underrated gifts of not having a girlfriend is clarity. That is the fifth keynote. Solitude creates clarity. Most men move through life in a fog because they are constantly juggling distractions, arguments, mixed emotions, and obligations to other people. When you step back and embrace solitude, you suddenly start to see things for what they are. You notice the habits that are holding you back. You recognize the opportunities that are sitting in front of you. You begin to understand yourself on a deeper level. This clarity is priceless because it allows you to design your life with precision instead of living on autopilot. When you are alone, you are not pulled in 10 different directions, and that means your thoughts finally have space to breathe. You begin asking yourself questions that most men never stop to consider. Who do I want to become? What kind of legacy do I want to leave? Where do I want my life to be in 5 years? These questions sound simple, but without solitude, they get buried under noise. A man in solitude has the chance to build his vision without compromise. He does not have to adjust his dreams to fit someone else's comfort zone. He does not have to lower his standards to keep the peace. He can define his direction with full authority. Clarity is what separates men who drift through life from men who dominate their lane. It is what allows you to say no to distractions because you know exactly what matters and what does not. When your vision is clear, your discipline becomes natural because you can see the reward waiting at the end of your effort. Without clarity, you waste years chasing the wrong things, people, and goals. With clarity, every move you make compounds toward a future you designed on purpose. That is why solitude is not something to fear, it is something to embrace. It is in that quiet space that you hear your true voice, and once you hear it, no outside noise can drown it out. The sixth keynote builds on this because once you have clarity, you need discipline to turn it into reality. Discipline is the real currency of kings. In a world full of men chasing quick pleasure, discipline is what sets you apart. Discipline means you do the hard things even when no one is watching. It means you wake up early to work on your goals instead of wasting nights chasing meaningless connections. It means you control your emotions and your actions instead of letting temporary feelings dictate your future. Discipline is the bridge between vision and results, and without it, your clarity is just daydreaming. When you do not have a girlfriend, you are free from the constant pull of someone else's schedule and emotions. That freedom gives you the perfect ground to build discipline. You can set routines, focus on habits, and strengthen your consistency without interruption. The man who uses his solitude to master discipline is the man who becomes unstoppable when life brings challenges. Discipline creates freedom because it builds a life where you are in control. It builds habits that protect you from failure. It creates structure that supports your goals. Think about the difference between a man who spends every night scrolling, partying, or begging for attention, and a man who spends every night working on his body, his mind, and his craft. The first man looks busy, but he is only running in circles. The second man looks silent, but he is building momentum that will eventually shake the room. Discipline is not glamorous in the moment, but it makes you powerful in the long run. It ensures that while others are distracted, you are advancing. While others are losing time, you are compounding results. While others are dependent, you are independent. The beauty of discipline is that it also strengthens your self-respect. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you grow more confident. Every time you say no to distractions and yes to progress, you prove to yourself that you are in control. That self-respect radiates outward, and people notice it. Women notice it, employers notice it, the world notices it. They may not understand why, but they can feel the energy of a man who is disciplined. That is why discipline is the true currency of kings. It buys you freedom, it buys you respect, and it buys you the future you desire. Being single is often painted as a weakness, but the truth is far from that. The seventh keynote is that being single is not a weakness, it is a weapon. It is a position of strength because it gives you full control over your choices. You do not have to rush into anything. You do not have to compromise your standards. You do not have to settle just because you are afraid of being alone. When you embrace being single, you realize that you have the upper hand. You can move on your own terms, decide your own path, and focus entirely on building the version of yourself that commands respect and admiration. Most men waste their best years trying to prove their worth to someone else, while the man who understands the power of being single is quietly raising his worth until it speaks for itself. Think about how dangerous desperation is. A man who is desperate will accept less than he deserves. He will compromise his values just to keep someone around. He will beg for attention instead of demanding respect. That type of energy will always attract the wrong people in the wrong situations. But when you are single and you embrace it, you are not desperate. You are not begging. You are not chasing. You are building, and that energy is unshakable. It tells the world that you are valuable because you value yourself. It tells people that they cannot come into your life unless they bring something equally strong. That is what makes being single a weapon. It protects you from settling and positions you to choose instead of being chosen out of pity or convenience. This mindset flips the script completely. Instead of asking yourself why you are alone, you begin asking yourself what you can accomplish while you are alone. Instead of wondering when someone will validate you, you focus on validating yourself through your achievements and growth. Instead of looking at the absence of a partner as a problem, you start seeing it as an opportunity to refine your vision, raise your standards, and prepare for the life you are building. A man who understands this never walks into a relationship from a place of need. He walks into it from a place of abundance. That is the difference between a man who loses himself in love and a man who thrives within it. The eighth keynote is the foundation that holds everything else together. Love yourself first. Too many men think that having someone else love them will fix the holes they feel inside. They believe a relationship will heal their insecurities, fill their emptiness, or give them purpose. But no one can complete you if you do not first complete yourself. When you neglect self-love, you become dependent on others for validation, and that dependency leads to pain. When you master self-love, you carry your own validation and no one can take it away. Loving yourself means more than just feeling good about who you are. It means respecting your boundaries, protecting your energy, and holding yourself to a high standard. It means not tolerating disrespect, not settling for less, and not betraying your own vision just to keep someone around. It means looking in the mirror and being proud of the man you are becoming, even if nobody else is clapping for you yet. Self-love gives you the strength to stand alone without fear and the wisdom to only let in relationships that align with your worth. When you truly love yourself, you approach relationships from a completely different position. You are no longer seeking someone to fix you, you are seeking someone to grow with you. You are not looking for someone to fill a void, you are looking for someone to share the abundance you already created. That type of energy is rare, and it is exactly why the right partner will respect you. They will feel your strength, your independence, your confidence, and they will know you are not with them out of need but out of choice. That makes your love more valuable because it comes from freedom, not desperation. Self-love also creates resilience. Life will test you, people will disappoint you, but when you love yourself deeply, you do not collapse. You do not lose yourself when someone leaves, because you never gave away the core of who you are. You remain grounded in your own value, and that grounding makes you unbreakable. The men who depend on others for love fall apart when that love is taken away. The men who love themselves first remain solid, because their foundation was never in another person to begin with. This is why loving yourself is not optional, it is essential. It is what allows you to walk confidently in solitude and enter relationships without fear. It is what keeps you from lowering your standards, and it is what reminds you that your value is not determined by who stands beside you but by who you are when you stand alone. When you master this, you become unstoppable because no matter what happens in your love life, you remain whole, complete, and powerful. At the end of the day, being a man with no girlfriend is not a weakness, it is a stage of power. It is the time where you can sharpen your vision, master your discipline, build your value, and learn to love yourself in a way that no one can ever take from you. Every moment of solitude is an opportunity to strengthen your foundation so that when the right people come into your life, you are ready to stand tall and never lose yourself in the process. The man who embraces this season will always rise higher than the man who runs from it, because he understands that greatness is born in the quiet, in the grind, and in the discipline of standing alone. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time and your energy. Stay focused, stay committed, and keep building yourself into the person you were meant to be.